I'm Tristan Griffiths. You can connect with me as ImTristanG across all the socials. This morning's 8 to 8 is all about
small, achievable actions lead to big change.
Welcome to this episode of 8 at 8. Today we're going to talk about achieving big things through small, achievable actions. My name is Lee Jackson. You can tell I am not Tristan, but today we are rocking the early hours of the morning, collaborating on content together and doing some really exciting stuff. Now, I want to talk about how to achieve really big change in your business by implementing a process of small, achievable actions. Now, I'll ask you a question. What is your relationship to change? Let's think about how perhaps you have New Year's resolutions at the beginning of every single year, and you've got some real big, bold resolutions like losing tons of weight, going running every single day, writing a new book, all of these really big goals. Now, our relationship to change is very often to go all guns blazing for those particular items. And for the first maybe week, maybe 2 weeks if you're really good, of January, you are rocking that book. You are running every single day. You're doing all of these amazing things towards this goal. But very soon you find that you start to lose the energy. You start to give yourself the odd break. I won't run today, it's too cold, I'll run tomorrow. Or I won't write that chapter today, I'll write it tomorrow. And so on. Our problem is that we have these goals, we get so excited by these goals and we think I have to go all guns blazing to achieve it. And that just frankly overwhelms us. Now, a few years ago, someone said to me that small achievable actions lead to big change. And you know what I did about that? Absolutely nothing. I continued with my relationship to change being, I have to do all these big impactful things. I've got to launch this massive event and do all of these massive impactful things. And the day that I started to just do small actions every single day, I started to realize that there was some truth in that. Now, here's a good example. I've always wanted to read the Bible from cover to cover. This is something that's been on my heart for years, and for at least the last 25 years, I have tried different plans to read the Bible. If you all don't know how many chapters there are like 900 chapters in the Old Testament and 260 chapters in the New Testament. There is a lot in there, and quite often it's quite boring as well, I've got to admit. So how the hell am I going to read this book? It's so massive, and I've always done these big programs where I can read it in, say, 60 days, but there's just been too much to do. I've had to read too many chapters. I've had to invest too much time. Now, for the last 209 days, literally, this is the 209th day, I've been able to read one chapter of the New Testament, as an example, for 209 days, which means I've nearly finished reading the whole New Testament, this book I've been trying to read for over 25 years, and just by spending 5 minutes every single morning for the last 209 days, I've nearly finished that book. I've been doing the same with meditation. I've always wanted better mindfulness and better sleep. I've wanted to be able to switch off at night and remove all of that junk from my mind. So I'm practicing meditation, and again, it's just 5 minutes of meditation. Just that regular 5 minutes of commitment for meditation has been absolutely impactful and helpful. Now, the way I've been tracking this is by being accountable to myself using something called streaks. Now, if you are familiar with, say, Snapchat, one of these social media apps where it tracks how many times you send a picture or tracks how many times you open it, you'll see that you start to build up a streak, numbers, that's days in a row. So for example, me and my friend Larissa, we've been snapping each other for the last 700 and odd days. And I'll tell you what, even if my arm fell off tomorrow, I don't want to break a streak of 750. So I'll be snapping her somehow. I will find a way not to break that streak. When we start to apply that streak mentality to the small achievable actions, then we become accountable to ourselves. So often people encourage you to be accountable with your friends, but your friends are your friends and they're going to be kind to you. The person who's going to be the least kind to you is you. And if you have these streaks, so have a look at the Daily O app. That's an app I'd certainly recommend you take a look at. That will allow you to track your streaks. So right now I'm at 209 streaks on reading the New Testament. So for me, that's something that I don't want to break. I've also had this mindfulness daily routine and I'm on day 70 at the moment. So that means that if I don't do that tomorrow, that breaks the streak. I can't record that I've done that and I've broken my streak, which will suck. So Dailyo, we'll make sure we put a link in the comments so you can check that app out. It's available for both Android and for iPhone, and it will allow you to track those small achievable actions. What I'll encourage you to do, therefore, is to mark out what your goals are. What do you want to achieve either for the rest of this year, or what do you want to achieve in 2020? Then what can you do to break those goals down into really small achievable actions? Perhaps you want to map out the processes of your business. This is something that is often recommended by business coaches, to map out all of your processes and procedures. And that is a huge, lengthy task. So perhaps you could literally spend 5 minutes every single morning mapping out a part of a process over the next few months. And by the end of, say, 3 months, you will actually have your entire business process mapped out at, I would argue, a better quality than if you simply spent 2 days trying to do everything all in one go. I've got many experiences of trying to do big actions in short amount of time and just not giving it my best, not giving it the quality, because I'm trying to rush everything. I'm trying to create something really big in a short space of time, and my quality and my attention to detail, all of that just drops off. So what do you want to achieve? How could you break that down into achievable 5-minute actions? Can you then track that against an app so that you're keeping yourself accountable to yourself, so you keep those streaks going? And what can you achieve for the rest of this year? I would love to know what you can achieve by the end of this year using this technique, but also what can you be achieving for next year as well. Now, if you found this useful, please let me know in the comments, and also tag someone else in that you think would benefit from this technique. My name is Lee. You can connect with me on the link in the comments, but I would encourage you to go check out Tristan on ImTristanG across all of the socials. If you're not following him and his team, I highly recommend it, because these guys are legends, and I'm now going to clock off and we're going to have a coffee together.